gymnastics has always been a huge part of my life. The gym is like kind of a release for me. It easily allows me to come here and just be myself for a little bit. We train 20 hours a week in the gym, but on top of that we have extra time in the training room and obviously to compete. Gymnastics has really taught me how to be on a schedule, how to be dedicated. I think that transfers over into academics. My name is Shannon McMack. I am a senior from Houston, Texas, and I'm majoring in QAMO, which is Quantitative Analysis of Markets and Organizations. So it's kind of like a business econ degree. It's very analytical, a lot of data analysis, statistics. Being in the QAMO program has definitely pushed me, but just like gymnastics, it's really a progression over time. You don't just go from the floor to the high beam and say, well, you know, I hope it goes well. So we have progressions of how we learn skills from drills to low beams to eventually to high beam. And that progression is the same in life. You build from the ground up and learn how to love the work.
World-class athletes, innovative coaches, passionate fans. A winning formula for the University of Utah's women's gymnastics team. Join Kaylee D for a look back at how the team has risen to the top. Utah Gymnastics, Red Rocks retrospective. Coming this February. The 2019 Pac-12 Gymnastics Championships are being held in West Valley City, Utah at the Maverick Center. Support the youths as they compete for the Pac-12 Championship on March 23rd. Tickets are available now. Visit utahutes.com/tickets to find tickets now.
The call of today's meet, here's Mike Lagerschultz and Maddie Stover.
In terms of the losses, of course, there's you. You were over doing beam a year ago, and also Tiffany Lewis performed in 3 events. So between the two of you, those are the only routines this team loses. They've also got some good freshmen coming in. This appears to be a veteran plus a deeper team than it was a year ago.
That's exactly how I would determine this team, as a veteran team, which is really the team that you want to be on, is girls that have seen the competition floor and have competed under big light. So we have 4 all-arounders coming back. Missy Ryan Statler, Kari Lee, McKenna Merrill, and Michaela Skinner. And we'll see those girls kind of fluctuate through that all-around position throughout the season. And then we have 4 new freshmen, brand new faces that our fans get to meet. And unfortunately, one of them, Cammie Hall, tore her Achilles prior to the Red Rocks preview. But I'm pretty confident that we're going to see the other 3 girls vying for lineup spots, and they'll have their time here in the Huntsman.
All right, for Penn State, a former Ute comes back to town, Sarah Shire, who now is known as Sarah Brown, and she competed here in 2007. Went just 1 year with the Utes. It just wasn't a good fit. She came away from her Midwestern home, decided to go back closer to home to Missouri. She became a 4-time All-American there, also a multiple-time Big 12 Gymnast of the Year. So it worked out very well for her, just a better fit where she was at Missouri. But she got into coaching pretty quick after her career ended, was a volunteer assistant at Michigan, became the head coach at Eastern Michigan for 1 year, did so well. Penn State hired her quickly. This is now her 2nd year with the Nittany Lions. And as you know, it's all about talent in sports. It takes a while to recruit.
Yep.
Gymnastics is no different. She needs some time at Penn State, but it appears she's got things going in the right direction.
Absolutely, and Penn State has been kind of has a history of gymnastics. Back in the 70s and 80s, they were a peak team. My mom actually did college gymnastics back in the day, and that was her main competitor. Every year they were going up against Penn State. So this school has a legacy of gymnastics. They have a good fan base that supports their program, and it's always good to see a non-conference team be able to come into the Huntsman. They don't get to perform in front of the fans that we get to. So really, as a gymnast, this team is being able to experience a full house and get to perform the sport that they love in front of fans that are interested in their gymnastics. So bringing a small team to a big stage is cool for both sides.
Yep, good opener for both teams this afternoon. All right, the number 5 Utes take on Penn State. Today's meet being brought to you by Minky Couture, proud partner of Utah Athletics. And a great gift for that special Ute fan in your life. Purchase your Minky Couture blanket online at softminkeyblankets.com or stop in at one of their stores in Layton, Draper, St. George, or Manhattan. Minky Couture, the best blanket ever. When we come back, we'll check in with co-head coach Megan Marsden to preview today's matchup against Penn State. It's the Utes and the Nittany Lions coming up in just a moment. This is Red Rocks Gymnastics from Learfield.
Home comes in all shapes and sizes. And whether you're looking
Can you hear okay?
Good.
Check in now with Utah co-head coach Megan Marsden for a preview of today's meet. Marsden and Megan had great holidays. Last time we talked to you was the Red Rocks preview back in mid-December. Since then, the team had some time off for Christmas, but we've been back at training pretty hard, getting ready for this early meet. How's the team been the last few weeks?
You know, they did a good job with their time off. I think everybody did some resting, but also continued to do some training. So we were really able to hit the road running when they got back, and we've had 6 very good trainings. And in that time, it's been amazing to see them be back in routine shape and ready for this first meet.
I thought for our first pre-meet interview, it'd be good to kind of just go through your lineup this year. You've got 4 potential all-arounders, which is a nice luxury to have, with Michaela Skinner, McKenna Merrill-Giles, Carly Lee, Missy Reinstadler. How often do you anticipate those 4 going on all 4 events this season?
Well, I think that Michaela and McKenna have both proven that they handle all around pretty well and have been through a couple of long seasons and managed really well, and still were doing some of their best work late. I think Kari has had a great preseason, and we are hopeful to have her in a lot of the time, but bars has always been an event where she's a little earlier in the lineup or not in, and so that event for Kari will determine whether or not she's an all-arounder. And then Missy Reinstadler's one that is just beautiful on all 4 events, and we are hopeful to use her as an all-arounder probably in the most important times. But she's also pretty delicate, and we need to manage that body of hers so that she can be doing her best work in the postseason for us.
Well, you had the luxury of losing only 4 routines from last year's postseason lineup. Of course, you lose Maddie Stover, who was your star leadoff performer on beam, and then Tiffany Lewis went the other 3 events. So not many holes to fill. How do you foresee the rest of your competition order coming together throughout the season?
Well, I expect for our talented group of freshmen that have come in for them to push, and also our 2 sophomores who got limited time last year, and I know they're anxious to be involved in more lineups if possible. And so both Alexia Birch and Sydney Solosky have been working hard, and I expect to see our freshmen. We've got, Adrian Randall is going to be out there in a couple places, maybe 3, and Crystal Issa, I think we'll see her on bars on a regular basis, and she's putting a push on all 3 of the other events. I think she'll possibly be in vault this weekend.
All right, Penn State comes in. You've had them in a dual meet just once since 1997. That was here in 2010. Sarah Shire, who's now Sarah Brown, is their head coach. Just tell us how this meet came together with the former Ute as their head coach.
Well, we are really proud of Sarah and what she's gone on to do since her time here at Utah quite a while ago. I really feel like she's a dynamic young female coach out there taking the reins at Penn State, and she's only been there a year, so it's going to maybe take a little more time, but the possibility of that Penn State program returning to some of its greatness of the years clear back in my time, I think is a possibility with the right passionate person there, and Sarah certainly is one of those people.
All right, first meet of the season. I know it's a long process to get to nationals in April, and at that point looking for as many 9-9 routines as you can get, but it's a building process. So for this first meet of the season, some things you're looking for out of your team this afternoon.
We are looking for our team to do what they have been training to do. We did an inner squat on Tuesday on 3 events, everything but vault, and the athletes did a great job, and we went 8 deep on each event, and I think we had 1 fall out of all those routines, so out of 24 routines, and that was somebody that probably won't be in the lineup. And so we really feel like the team is prepared. We'd like to see them just do that again, not do anything way more spectacular, because many times in an effort to do that, we end up with some things that we don't see in training. So that we've talked a lot about that, and the girls are trying to approach the meet in a way that allows them to compete the way they train.
All right, Megan, good luck to you.
Thanks so much.
All right, we'll get things started in 2019. It's the number 5 Utah Utes against Penn State coming up next, and this is Red Rocks Gymnastics from Learfield.
Utah.
Courtney Chittering. A junior from Fort Colorado, Gianna LaGuardia. A sophomore from Plano, Texas, Tess McCracken. A freshman from New Milford, Pennsylvania, Donna Howell. A freshman from Darnestown, Maryland, Lauren Bridgens. A sophomore from Morganville, New Jersey, Kristen Politz.
A freshman from State College, Pennsylvania, Jesse Bastardy. A junior from Rochester, Michigan, Amber Autry. And please welcome Penn State. The Nittany Lions are led by head coach Sarah Brown and assistant coaches Rob Drass and Dallas Becerra.
Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for.
Now fans, get on your feet and let's get loud for your University of Utah Red Rocks! A sophomore from Calgary, Canada, Sydney Solowski. A junior from Gilbert, Arizona, Michaela Skinner. A junior from Orem, Utah, Kim Tesson. A senior from Peoria, Arizona, Kari Lee. A senior from McDonald, Tennessee, Macy Roberts. A freshman from Henderson, Nevada, Crystal Issa. A freshman from Orem, Utah, Hunter Dula. A sophomore from Sparks, Nevada, Alexia Birch. A freshman from Corona, California, Adrian Randall. A senior from Houston, Texas, Shannon McNatt. A junior from Brick, New Jersey, Missy Reinstatler. A sophomore from Salt Lake City, Utah, Lauren Wong. A junior from Pleasant Grove, Utah, McKenna Merrill Giles. A freshman from Gainesville, Virginia, Cammie Hall. And let's hear it for our 2019 Red Rocks. The Utes are led by co-head coaches Megan Marsden and Tom Farden and assisted by Robert Ladany. Gymnasts, please march to your first event. University of Utah to the vault, Penn State to the bars. Timed warm-ups will begin in 2 minutes.
America First, Utah's #1 credit union, proudly presents the University of Utah Red Rocks gymnastics season. Visit americafirst.com to learn why they are the top credit union in the state. At America First, members come first. And go Red Rocks!
And welcome back to the Huntsman Center. Mike Laga Show, Maddie Stover with you for Red Rocks Gymnastics. Our opening meeting of the 2019 season as number 5 Utah takes on the Penn State Nittany Lions. Great to have you with us on this Saturday afternoon. And Mickey Couture is a proud partner of Utah Athletics and a great gift for that special Ute fan in your life. Purchase your Mickey blanket online at softmickeyblankets.com or stop in at one of their stores in Layton, Draper, St. George, or Manadin. Mickey Couture, the best blanket ever. We are set to go in about 4 minutes with our first routine of the afternoon. Utah again picked 5th in the preseason poll nationwide. UCLA picked first in the Pac-12 preseason poll. Utah second. Of course, the Bruins are defending NCAA champions, and a lot back for them as well. But you talk to these Utah athletes and coaches, Maddie, I think they certainly are not intimidated by UCLA, and they're ready to make a run at them in the Pac-12 once again this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that our veteran team is ready to go. There have been a couple changes to some girls' routines. Michaela Skinner has upped her difficulty. I think also, too, what's interesting and kind of fun about Michaela is that she now is a junior. She's on the totem pole of our team now. And I think her freshman and sophomore year, she really got used to that college atmosphere. Obviously, she's a lights-out competitor, but she really has taken her freshman and sophomore year to refine detail, become a little better with her execution and performance quality of her gymnastics, and I'm really ready to see her. Honestly, we all think she's peaked, but I think she has even more that she's ready to show us this season. So I'm really excited to see Michaela and kind of see how she takes off for this home opener tonight.
Yeah, you sometimes wonder how much better can she get. Back-to-back years, the silver medalist in the all-around and a national champion already multiple times, but Megan Marsden told us yesterday, she goes, when you have someone who's a great athlete who really enjoys the preparation and the time that it takes to be that top level, you've really got, with those two things going, someone who can be just dynamite. And certainly Michaela Skinner now with 2 years behind her, the talent she has, I think her best 2 years might be ahead of her.
Absolutely. And she's, like I said, she's a junior. So girls on the team look up to her. I think she's a really good role model on the competition floor and really elevates the girls' competition just with her pure talent.
Well, one thing we've heard last year and then this year more the same is the emphasis on sticking and finishing routines. And it was interesting that Megan Marsden told us, she's basically the beam coach, and Tom Farden is one of those guys who is just always looking for an edge, always doing research, and he's really tapped into what's going on. And she told us he's done some video research on beam dismounts that have helped other teams stick more off beam, and they've looked at some other things. But I just thought it was interesting how someone who, it really isn't necessarily his event, but he sees some areas to improve. He's locked in pretty well, and he is really kind of trying to just do some research in the summertime to help his team do better when competition time comes around. The endless hours he puts in is amazing.
Tom is a very analytical coach, and I can tell you that from experience. He sees everything in the finest detail as possible. And honestly, as a gymnast, I really gravitated towards that because we think of every single movement that we do in a very technical way. So Tom jumping in on beam, he does the same thing with every event. But I think that is one an event that kind of becomes the Achilles heel sometimes of a team. And those little tenths that you can get here and there, which sticking is an easy way to not have any deductions, taken away from you at the end of a routine, is a really important part of the balance beam. So I'm excited. We'll see.
All right, as we watch Penn State perform, they are the 27th ranked team in the preseason poll, picked 7th in the Big Ten. Again, former Ute Sarah Brown, as she's known now, formerly Sarah Shire. She's their second-year head coach. Watch for Lauren Bridgens this afternoon, a returning All-American from last year. On even bars as a freshman, was also a first-team All-Big Ten selection after finishing the second with 3 all-around titles, 3 vault titles. She won on even bars 6 times, and she also qualified for nationals in the all-around. She placed third at the Penn State Regional, so went as an individual to the NCAA Championships, and has posted a 10 on bars as well last year. So Lauren Bridgen, just a sophomore. Also look for Sabrina Garcia, a second-team All-Big Ten selection. She was third or better in the all-around 5 times last year, placed 9th in the all-around at regionals. Did not make nationals, but Garcia, the senior, Bridges, a sophomore, 2 gymnasts to watch for from Penn State this afternoon.
Yep.
All right, for the Utes, Kari Lee will lead things off, followed by Crystal Issa, Alexia Birch, Macy Roberts, McKenna Merrill Giles, and Michaela Skinner over on vault and
Kari
on bars.
Lee, here we go, her super senior year.
Penn State over on bars to start the Utes with 3 10-0 vaults at the end of this rotation.
Kari Lee just did a Yurchenko full, a little tiny hop back, but a really good start for the Red Rocks. In vault, we're looking for that strong run down the runway, good height and amplitude, and a stuck landing. So we'll get there. It's pretty close.
Well, Kari Lee scored a 9.9 3 times last year. That was her season high. She's gone as high as 9.95 back in 2015 before the injury bug bit her in 16 and 17. She told me that Robert Ladney has helped her a lot with her height and distance off the table, a little bit more of a wow factor than before. Might not see all the polished routines today. It's early in the season, but down the road she thinks she can get a little bit of a higher score, Kari Lee did, than she did last year with that vault.
Absolutely, and they put her as that leadoff because she's consistent, she's solid, but she has a huge vault. So I definitely think we'll see her scores grow through the season.
All right, performing now for Penn State over on bars.
She just performed a really nice Jaeger. Bail, a little short on her handstand.
Ava Van de Floor
Good
going.
start for Penn State so far. Swinging a blind full into a double back. A little hop forward on that landing, but a good start for Penn State.
So Ava Van de Floor, sophomore from Allen, Texas, won on bars in 11 of 13 meets last year, a career best of 9.85 as she hops up as the leadoff on bars for Penn State.
Next up on vault for Utah,
9.875 is the first score up of the afternoon for Kari Lee. Crystal Issa now up for the bars. Second to go on vault for Utah freshman from Henderson, Nevada.
This is her very first competitive routine in the Huntsman. A little hop and a step back. Not the cleanest landing, but you know what? She got out there, performed her first one. She'll get a little more comfortable out on the vault.
Crystal Issa, 2-year member of the USA Junior National Team in 17 and 18, also a 2-time Junior Olympic national champ on bars. That's her best event, but going second for these today on vault. And now Tess McCracken, second up for Penn State over on bars.
All right.
McCracken, a junior from Plano, Texas, won on bars in every meet last season. Career best score for her of 9.825, set at the BYU quad meet last season in Provo.
Next up on bars for Penn State.
So we get a 9.875, the first score up on vault for Kari Lee of Utah. Still waiting for Vanderfloor's score to post on bars. And now ready for our second performer for Penn State's over on bars.
All right. Tess is mounting up to the high bar. Hip cast handstand into a nice Tkachev. A little loose with her legs. Hit that solid handstand at the top. Her bar-to-bar transition is a bail. A little bit loose. A couple tenths will be taken right there. Moving on to the high bar for her toe shoot and a stalder. That's a very beautiful, unique element on the bars. Right into a double back. Stuck her landing. Great second bar routine for Penn State. A little bit, could clean up here and there, but good all-around start.
First bar score for Penn State, Ava Vandeflor, a 9.775, so they don't get a 9.8 to lead off their bars lineup through the Nittany Lions. Utah now ready to go with their third up over on vault, Alexia Birch.
Alexia is a sophomore. Didn't really see her too much on vault, but she just did a really good Yurchenko full. Almost had that stuck landing, but her body was pulled a little bit forward, did a tiny step forward. So we'd like to see vaults move backward. That just shows the judge that you have a little more power and you're in control. Whereas if you step forward, that shows that you're a little under rotated. So you know what? Just need a little more power down the runway. But she worked for that landing. She really did. It's good to see Lexi in the vault lineup. Looking for amplitude, distance from the table. You want to finish your twist or twist with your head still above the table on vault for a good score. Try to open out with your arms on landing and center on the mat. So for Alexia Birch, she has a career best of 9.775. That was last year against Cal. So Alexia now going third in the vault lineup for Utah this season. It's good for our fans to know that we're resting a couple of our main vaulters tonight. The Yurchenko full starts at a 9.9, and Yurchenko 1.5 started a 10.0, excuse me. And our two 10.0 vaults, Missy and Kim Tesson, are pulled out tonight just to kind of hold bodies back for postseason. Trying to pace themselves, and we'll talk more about that throughout the course of the meet. Courtney Chinnery, third up for Penn State over on bars. She just performed a really great clear hip Tkachev. Really great height and amplitude on that. Bailed to transition into a blindfold double back. She pulled out from the bar a little too much, but rotated it, ended her landing. Solid third bar routine for Penn State. So Chinnery, a sophomore out of Virginia. And this is a pretty young program for Sarah Brown, their second-year head coach. Utah now ready for its fourth performer on vault, Macy Roberts, ready to go for Utah. All right, Macy is in her senior year. Just did a really powerful Yurchenko full. She had a little too much there that she hopped back. But like I said, hopping back is better than moving forward. We want to see that vault travel down the vault runway and across, like you said, height, amplitude, distance. Macy did really good on distance. Just needs to put a little bit of sticky stuff on her feet and find that landing. All right, Macy Roberts performed on vault just once last year. That was against BYU in the opener with a 9.785. Has a career best of 9.85 against UCLA back in 2017. So Macy Roberts, a senior from McDonald, Tennessee. I'm hoping that we'll see her in the vault lineup consistently this year. She didn't quite find that her first 2 years with us, but I'm confident that she's going to have a really good senior year. A couple more scores. Crystal Issa went 9.825. Alexia Birch a 9.8. Those were the second and third vault scores for Utah. McCracken a 9.775, and then Chinnery a 9.75 for Penn State as their second and third performers. That was a great bar routine for Penn State. She had really solid handstands all around, really good technical form. Probably is the best bar routine I've seen them put up from their lineup so far. I'm expecting that to be probably a high 9.8 or 9.99 performance. Well, Penn State so far their best score, 9.775 through the first three performers. McKenna Merrill-Giles, second to last up on vault for Utah. McKenna Merrill is our senior. She's one of those that has a 10.0 vault, and she just stuck her 1.5. That's an awesome start for McKenna. That's what you want to see. Those 10.0 vaults, she just nailed it. A little bit deep in her squat, so the judges might take a little bit right there. She squatted a little bit low. They want to see your chest up a little bit higher, but regardless, great start with a stick on a 1.5 for McKenna. McKenna Merrill-Giles, a senior from Pleasant Grove, Utah, out of All-American Gymnastics. First team regular season All-American on vault last year. Also the Pac-12 champ on vault last season with a 9.95 at the conference championships. As Maddie mentioned, she's gone as high as a 10. That was against Washington last year. Now back over to bars for Penn State. All right, we are there. Ariane Allen is set to go. Her Jaeger, she just performed, was a little bit close to the bar, so the judges are going to take a little bit of deduction there. You want to make sure you have just kind of like vault, height, amplitude, and distance away from your skills. And kick cast handstand on the high bar, moving into her dismount. gaining good speed. Really pretty double layout. Her chest pulled back a little bit on that landing, so she had to step backwards to control it. But good all-around performance. I'd put that probably around mid-9.8.
So Bridges went 9.85 for Penn State. That's her best score over on bars this afternoon. Muriel Giles went 9.9 for the Utes. That's the best Utah vault score so far. Michaela Skinner last up for Utah on that event.
All right. Michaela performs a Yurchenko double twist, and she stuck it. That's exactly what the Red Rocks want to see, is their big two vaults at the end build their scores. And that's exactly what McKenna and Michaela just did. She nailed her double twist, and that was kind of something she had struggled with, is finding that consistent landing for her double twist, and I'm excited that she started out the season with a stick.
So Michaela Skinner, the national champion on vault, scoring a 9.9375. The crowd wants a 10 for her first performance of the season.
Fans are on their feet. Megan and Tom are flashing 10s. Oh, I see one judge. Energy is building in here.
What a great start for Michaela Skinner.
That's what we want to see. And you can tell that she's been working on that all preseason long, is refining that stick.
Her career best score is 9.975 on vault. That came in 2017 in a quad meet against Boise State, Denver, and Illinois, Chicago. So she ends up with a 9.95 is how they scored. We saw 110 up. A 9.95 the score for Michaela Skinner to wrap up the vault set for Utah. Garcia, last performer on bars for Penn State.
Sabrina Garcia just performed a really nice Jaeger. Bar-to-bar transition is a bail. Very clean so far, a little short on her handstands. And moving into the dismount, she will perform a double layout. One step forward, showed good control. A little refinement on her detail was missing, but all around, I think Penn State put up a pretty good first rotation. So
Sabrina Garcia, a regular season All-American on bars back in 2017. Career best score of 9.95 for the senior out of Edders, Pennsylvania. Their lowest score was by their second to last performer.
Yep, we got that 9.675, and there was just a little bit of inconsistency in the distance of her skills. Her Jaeger was a little bit close to the bar, which kind of, bars you look for tempo. You want rhythm on bars, and when you pull in or you're too far away from an element, you lose that rhythm, and judges will take that tempo deduction. So I think that's where you see that 9.675 coming from.
Yep, and that came from Aaron Allen, the junior from Dallas, Georgia. Otherwise, 9.775 for the first two performers. Chinnery goes 9.75. Bridges a 9.85. Allen went 9.675. Waiting for Garcia, scored a post. Utah, a strong close as we thought it would be. McKenna Merrill Giles a 9.9 on vault. Michaela Skinner went 9.95. And ready for one more performer as an exhibition for Penn State.
All right. And exhibitions are kind of a chance to give gymnasts that don't make the lineup quite yet an opportunity to compete. They aren't necessarily going to, we won't see their score. Their coaches will, as a sense of giving them a little bit of critique. But so far, she performed a Jaeger to a bail, cleanly moving through this routine to a double layout dismount. Moved a little too far away from the bar. Her chest was low, but she did a good job. So
that concludes the first rotation. Gymnasts, please.
All right, that will do it for the first rotation. We'll take a break and come back to run down the scores from rotation number 1, Utah on vault, Penn State on bars. They will switch spots as we come back with rotation number 2 in just a moment. It's a 2019 Utah Gymnastics season opener. Back with more in just a moment. This is Red Rocks Gymnastics from Learfield.
For Christmas's hair.
Oh! Get wiggy with Utah Gymnastics and help us expand the Dumpkey Gymnastics Training Center.
Buy this $20 wig and all proceeds go towards the expansion. Wear your wig to the UCLA meet on February 23rd. Get yours now on uredzone.com or at any of the Red Zone store locations. Go Utes.
Yeah, more. Get into it. Come on. There we go. There you go.
When the Dumpkey Center opened in 1999, Utah Gymnastics had the premier training facility in the country. This once state-of-the-art facility helped Utah Gymnastics break barriers for women in sports for over 20 years.
The gymnastics world has now caught up. We have a plan to ensure that as the gymnastics world evolves, Utah stays where it belongs. The improvements we need to make to the donkey are not extravagant.
The center one rotation down this Saturday afternoon, and Utah scoring a 4.94 to open things up on vault. Penn State goes 48.950 on bars. Utah did not score below a 9.8, which is great news on vault. They dropped that 9.8 by Alexia Birch. Crystal Issa went 9.825. Carly 9.875 as the leadoff. McKenna Merrill Giles a 9.9. Macy Roberts went 9.85, and Michaela Skinner a 9.95. So Skinner with that 9.95 vault over a competition. And it was brought to you by the David Eccles School of Business. Springboard your career at eccles.utah.edu. Let's check the scores for Penn State over on bars. Vanderfloor went a 9.775, as did Tess McCracken as the first two competitors. A 9.75 by Courtney Chinnery. Lauren Bridgens, who qualified for Nationals in the yellow round last year, scored a 9.85 as the fourth competitor. Erin Allen had the lowest score with a 9.675, and then Sabrina Garcia a 9.8 to wrap things up. So once again, Penn State scores a 48.95, and Utah a 49.4 on vault.
Yeah, to recap vault for the Red Rocks, that was a great start. We saw a freshman that came out and put up a big score, and we saw two girls that we hadn't seen in lineups that are veterans from last year, Macy Roberts and Alexia Birch, that entered our lineup. Carly started us off huge with a nice stick, and we ended with a stick too. Michaela Skinner, that double twist, she has been working at that for so long, so I was so excited to see her feet not move after that double twist vault. So they didn't give her a 10 this time, but they're giving her room to improve. So, and bars, I think Penn State did a really good job. They had not too much difficulty in their routines. I think that's why you see scores a little bit lower. A little form breaks here and there, and like I was saying, some tempo change that judges just don't love. So that's why their scores were a little bit lower. But overall, we didn't see any falls. So everyone's starting out with a hit. So
for Utah's,
looking good.
Yeah, for Utah's vault lineup, they were hoping to have 5 10-0 routines, but then the injury, of course, happened to the freshman. Not going was Kim Tesson. Also, Misty Weinstadler did not go. So with the injury, Utah down to 4 possible 10-0s. They only had 2 in the lineup this afternoon. So as you mentioned, they're kind of holding some people back to just kind of pace themselves. But still, I thought a pretty good vault set for the Utes.
Absolutely. It's January 5th. Nationals is at the end of April. So we're going to make sure we're holding the girls that have those bigger vaults to produce those results a little more towards the end. However, we talked with Megan a little bit. Missy performed a full for us last year, but she's been working on a 1.5 all preseason, and it's just not quite there yet. And she's a little bit of a more delicate body that performs on all the other events. So the coaches are going to make sure that 1.5 looks pristine before they put it out on the competition floor.
Absolutely. Cammie Hall, the freshman, out with the Achilles, and she will certainly be a loss for the Utes on vault as much as any event, and hoping for a good recovery for her going into next season. All right, we're about ready for rotation number 2. Utah to bars and Penn State to vault. Back with that in just a moment. This is Red Rocks Gymnastics from their field. Mike Lagesholt, Maddie Stover back at the Huntsman Center for Red Rocks Gymnastics. Our meet being brought to you by America First Credit Union. Proud to present Red Rocks Gymnastics all season. Visit AmericaFirst.com. Learn why joining the state's #1 credit union means you'll always be part of a winning financial team. So the Utes open up with a 49-4 on vault. Penn State went 48.95 on bars. They will switch spots. Utah now over to the bars. Kim Tesson, Kari Lee, McKenna, Merrill Giles, missing Ryan Stadler, Crystal Issa. One of those exciting young freshmen will go second to last, followed by Michaela Skinner. And for Penn State on vault, Alyssa Bonsall, Sabrina Garcia, Melissa Astorita, Courtney Chinnery. Those are the first four. Gianna LaGuardia is fifth. Lauren Bridges, Yellow American, will wrap things up over there on vault for Penn State.
Here we get going with Kim Tesson as our starter on bars. And Kim was one of our girls that struggled with mono over the preseason and didn't perform at Red Rocks, but is what Megan said is she was cleared to train the day after Red Rocks. So she has been working pretty hard in the gym to get prepped and ready to go. Bars is kind of her niche event, so I'm excited to see her back in the lineup, especially because she's struggled with some injuries throughout her career so far. She's one of those get down to business girls, though. once she can train, she's gonna go. All right, we're starting off on vault.
All right, first up for Penn State, Alyssa Bonsall.
Alyssa just performed a Yurchenko full, the standard vault that we see in college gymnastics. However, her chest was a little bit low on her landings, and the judges really looked for chest up and hips back and no feet movement. And she hopped a little bit, and her chest was low, so good start.
Alyssa Bonsall competed on vault in every meet last year. Her best score is a 9.825. She's a sophomore out of Connecticut. And now Kim Tesson to start things over on bars for Utah.
This is Kim's first start of bars in her junior season. Performed a really pretty Jaeger. A little short on her handstand out of it. Her bail, she went really quick, so she didn't quite find that handstand. Moving up to the high bar. Good cast handstand. Moving into her twisting dismount. And she stuck her landing, which is exactly what we're looking for. Really good start for Kim. I'm excited to see her back out on the competition floor. Her shoulder has been giving her quite an issue over her time here as a Red Rock, so that she's out competing and just put up a solid start performance. Good for Kimmy.
Yeah, like to see that. Junior from Orem, Utah, out of All-American Gymnastics. Her best score on bars with a 9.9. That was 3 times last year. You mentioned that shoulder injury that cost her the final 11 meets of the 17th season, and just keep our fingers crossed she can stay healthy this year.
Absolutely.
All right, Sabrina Garcia next up for Penn State on vault. Her career best score, a 9.85 on this event.
Well, she was a little bit short on the table. She didn't turn over her round off. She tried to perform a Yurchenko half, which is just a layout with just a half twist, which starts a little bit of a lower start value, but her hands look like they slid on the table a bit, which when you don't turn over your round off all the way, your hands get to the table before your body does.
Okay.
So that moves the trajectory of your twisting and your flipping. So a little bit of a rough start for her on vault.
Sort of a wry smile by her. She got off the mat there behind the vault. She knew it wasn't her best. Opening night jitters, maybe a little bit all around, and especially for Penn State to open in this environment with a great crowd on hand. Not the easiest place to go for your season opener. All right, Utah, as we look for the first scores to go up. Tessa went 9.85 on bars. Bonsall a 9.7 to start things on vault for Penn State.
Kari Lee now is taking the second position for the Red Rocks. Just performed a really pretty Jaeger directly into a bar-to-bar transition of a bail. And moving into her cast handstand on high bar. Blind change. Front giant into her double back. Let's see if she can put this on her feet. Perfect. Kari was a little bit short, so she hopped forward on her dismount. But what's really great about Kari and why the coaches find any spot for her in the bar lineup is that her form is impeccable. She's usually very consistent. And what Megan was telling us earlier today, though, is that spot might not be Kari's for the whole season. I think some freshmen are pushing in with that spot. So we'll see if Kari can hold on to that spot or if a freshman will push into the lineup.
All right, Melissa Astorita, third up for Penn State on vault.
She performed a Yurchenko full, and her hands look like they slid a little bit on the table too. But not the best height and amplitude. she needed to work on getting quicker off the table so she would have the opportunity to find her chest up a little bit higher when she sticks that landing. But good third vault for Penn State.
Getting back to Carly, she was the Pac-12 co-runner-up in 2017. Had a 9.85, or made that a 9.825 or better 7 times last year. Had 1.93 score that kind of held her average down last season. Her best score last year was a 9.9 against Georgia. So Carly Kemp gets a good score over there. Arm bars, but as you mentioned, she's being pushed by some freshmen. We'll see where she sticks if she does in that lineup. And now McKenna Merrill Giles, third up for Utah on bars.
Our hometown senior, about to mount the bar. She mounts inside the bar and does a really unique release move called a Delchev, which is a flip with a half twist, and she catches the bar. Really great form on that. McKenna has worked extremely hard on that. Her bail was a little bit short, bar to bar transition, moving to the high bar. Hit that cast handstand, moving into her dismount. And what she upgraded from last year, she did a twisting dismount this year. She just did a double back last year, so she does a double back with a full twist this year. Stuck that landing. She's having a great start to this meet so far. And McKenna really has worked on refining her detail. She's a little bit more of a lengthy body when it comes to gymnastics, so she has to be very particular with her form, which she has worked really hard at and proved to show us today that she's ready.
So for a good bar score, it's all about release moves and transitions. It's about the details that your handstands on top. Will be 90 degrees straight up, straight hips, straight back, toes pointed. Now our next performer for Penn State over on vault, Courtney Chinnery.
That was a great Yurchenko full. She finally got that good height and amplitude that we're looking for, and had a little too much power that she blasted back a little bit out of her landing. But again, like I said, for vault, it's better to see you move backwards than it is to move forward. So good vault for Penn State.
And Courtney Chinnery went on vault all 13 meets last year. In fact, she placed 9th at regionals with a 9.8. Went as high as 9.85 last season during her freshman season. Now for the Utes over on bars, 4th up, Missy Reinstadler. The first time we'll see her tonight.
Missy mounts inside the bar just like Kenna does. Starts the really gorgeous kip cast handstand, toe shoot, blind change half, a little bit short, push through it. Really great Jaeger. She has impeccable form on that. Rushed that second cast out of the Jaeger a little bit, so judges might take a 10th or so because that handstand was short. Second handstand on the high bar looked great, moving into her twisting dismount, and a little hop forward, almost found that stick. The beautiful thing about Missy is her gymnastics. She had a couple short handstands, but there's no technical corrections that could have happened there. Toes were pointed, legs were straight. Her technical deductions aren't going to exist, so I think that'll score very well.
Missy Reinstadler, the Pac-12 co-runner-up on bars, had a 9.825 or better 10 times last year. Her career best score at 9.9 back at the 2017 Pac-12 Championships. Also reached at the 2018 Pac-12 Championships. Jenna LaGuardia, second to last up on vault for Penn State.
She performed again a Yurchenko full, the standard vault, and was very, very powerful and took a big step back. So judges will take a significant deduction for that. But like I said, it's also good to see power. You want your gymnasts to do bigger gymnastics than smaller gymnastics, especially in a competitive environment. So good vault for Penn State. Needs to work on that landing, though.
Yep. Let's run down some scores for Utah. Tesson went 9.85. Kari Lee, a 9.825. Merrill Giles, a 9.85. Weinstadler just posted a 9.85. Now Crystal Issa, one of those promising freshmen, up for Utah on bars.
We've seen her up. This is her second spot in the lineup for a freshman, which is awesome. Did a beautiful Jaeger. Was so big she almost missed the bar, but she held on. Moving through this routine very seamlessly, does a blindfold straight into a double layout, which is a really unique and difficult combination to have on bars. So that's why we see her a little bit further in the lineup. But really, really great start for Crystal. Like I said, from Red Rocks, she showed me at Red Rocks that she was ready to go, and she's proving it here in this first meet.
Two-time Junior Olympic national champion on bars is Crystal Issa. Two-time member of the U.S. Junior national team in 17 and 18. Good freshman out of Henderson, Nevada. Yeah, Megan Martin said we've got some freshmen ready to go, and Crystal can go and she'll go late. She went second to last this afternoon, so great to see the confidence they have in her already. Lauren Bridges
So Lauren Bridgens is the Penn State's only 10-0 vault start value. She performed Yurchenko 1.5. Was a little bit short, and on a 1.5 when you're short, you're going to step backwards. And she was sitting a little bit too low, so good that they have a 10-0 in their lineup, though. But I don't know if that'll score too well. There was some form deductions and a big step backwards.
So Lauren Bridgens, 3 wins on vault last year. Her career best score is a 9.925. Sophomore out of Maryland was last up for Penn State on vault. Garcia has a low score at the moment, a 9.5. No one 9.8 or better at this point for Penn State on vaults. Utah's lowest score over on bars was a 9.825 by Carly, who was second up. Michaela Skinner wrap things up for Utah on that event.
Michaela Skinner now performs a toe shoot Dekachev, which is called a Ray, which is a new addition to her bar routine this year, which is really great. Move bar to bar transition as a bail. It's a little bit short, but moving through this very well. I've seen tight knees, pointed toes, really great form from Michaela into her twisting dismount. Really great height on that. Didn't completely find a stick, but she's pumped at it. So great, really great bar start for the Red Rocks. I'm excited to see this. It's kind of been our Achilles heel a bit in depth-wise for the Red Rocks in the past, and they just put up a really solid lineup. So great start.
Yeah, getting a low score at 9.825 by Carly Lee, and that's the one they will drop, and I'm assuming Skinner with that performance will be well above that. The best score right now is a 9.925 by Crystal Issa as they continue to build scores throughout that rotation. Skinner, by the way, 7th at Nationals on bars last year. She was the regional champion. Her career best score at 9.975.
All right, we just had, I think, was that an exhibition?
Exhibition, yes.
Just an exhibition. Probably got one of the girls just out in the spotlight for a bit, just performed the Yurchenko layout, but...
We talked to Megan Marsden about that yesterday. She said, early on, we want to get some of these gymnasts some time as exhibition performers. They've worked so hard. You need to get them some exposure to see if they can help you down the road because of injuries or if they overtake someone, and it's a good chance to get them out there this afternoon.
Exhibition routines are extremely important, and when coaches can put them up, they aren't always available to do, depending on TV time or if it turns into postseason competition. So early on in the season, you'll see a decent amount of exhibition routines, and it gives gymnasts just the opportunity to perform. And injuries happen, so you might find yourself in the lineup quicker than you thought, or in a lineup that you never thought you'd be in. So just the experience to be able to get out and compete is extremely important.
So Bridgens was the last performer with a 9.7 on vault for Penn State. We'll see their team score for that event post in just a moment, and there it is up right now. So the Nittany Lions dropped the 9.5 by Garcia. They score 48.625 on vault after going 48.95 on bars. And for the Utes, waiting for Michaela Skinner's score to post, as she will be the last one up. We'll come back with that in just a moment. 2 rotations down, 2 more to go on opening night here at the Huntsman Center. And this is Red Rocks Gymnastics from Learfield.
And here are a few tips on what to look for on balance beam. A great beam routine should have no wobbles or falls, and the athlete should work throughout the routine with command, confidence, and good form. The routine must include a 360-degree full turn, a leap combination that includes at least 2 elements, a jumper leap that hits a 180-degree split, an acro series which includes 2 flight elements, and a forward or side acro element. And certainly sticking the dismount finishes off a great beam routine.
Mike Lagerschultz, Maddie Stover back at the Huntsman Center for Red Rocks Gymnastics halfway through this 2019 season opener. Let's check the scoring on our second event as the number 5 Red Rocks were over on bars. And what a strong close to the set as Crystal Issa got a 9.925 as a second to last up. Carly with a 9.825. That's a score the Utes will drop. McKenna Merrill Giles went 9.85. Missy Reinstadler at 9.85. Kim Tesson at 9.85, and Michaela Skinner last performed for Utah so far. Pretty good night for Michaela, a 9.95 on vault. She also had that same score on bars, so she's been the top performer for the Utes. 9.95 in the first two events for Michaela Skinner.
This was a great start. As I was looking at that bar set, seeing these scores grow, and to see a freshman put up a 9.925 as her debut bar routine in the Huntsman, that's huge. So that'll be A, confidence booster, but B, she's pretty much, I think she's locked in her lineup spot. As a freshman, that's what you want to do. You want to compete and show up. And that's exactly, I saw really great performances from all the girls. As we said, Kari Lee, that score that we dropped, that's kind of, bars is a little bit of her Achilles heel, where she'll here or there have some mishaps, and a freshman might push in for that spot, but she's also a very consistent performer, and the score that she put up tonight is one that we would take. So. All
right, so again for these, Michaela Skinner, a 9.95. That raised the bar for the Red Rocks with her great bar performance. It's brought to you by the David Eccles School of Business. Raise the bar on your career at eccles.utah.edu. Let's run down the scoring for Penn State on vault. Alyssa Bonzel went 9.7 to start things. Sabrina Garcia with a 9.5. They will drop that score. Melissa Astorita went 9.725. Courtney Chinnery, a 9.775. Jalen LaGuardia, a 9.725. And Lauren Bridgens last up, unfortunately, not her best ever with a 9.7. So Penn State on vault will score a 48.625. Utah on bars goes 49.425, and through two events, the Utes a comfortable lead of over a point already. Maddie, 98.825 for Utah. Penn State at 97.575.
We're looking really good right now. I'm seeing solid, consistent performances, which is what I kind of said for those seeds to success. We want to see hit routines to see what our best ability is to gain that overall team score, and we're doing that so far. And Penn State, they're struggling a bit here and there. I think talent level is a little bit different than ours, and their difficulty in their routines, which plays into scores. And like we said, this is a different environment for them, and that makes an extremely big impact on how you perform and nerves. It's the first meet.
Absolutely.
Everyone's just getting used to things. So overall, looking good.
All right, two rotations down. Utah to the beam. Penn State will go to floor. Back with our third rotation in just a moment. This is Red Rocks Gymnastics from Learfield.
Fans, get on your feet and let's hear you make some noise for tonight's t-shirt toss.
Welcome back to the Huntsman Center, opening afternoon of the 2019 season, along with former Utah All-American Maddie Stover. I'm Mike Lageschilt. The Utah to a comfortable lead of 98.825. Penn State at 97.575. We're about ready for rotation number 3 as the Utes go to the beam. Penn State to floor. And be sure to represent the Utah Red Rocks this season with all the latest athletic gear available at the Utah Red Zone or uredzone.com, the official store for Utah Athletics, the Red Zone. Great to have you with us on this Saturday afternoon, and we will not see you for a while. The Utes are on the road the rest of the month of January. We'll come back with you on a Friday night in February, and a busy month of February for us, Maddie, but just good for the Utes to get out and perform this afternoon against Penn State. Utah ranked 5th in the country preseason, and as we've been talking, a pretty good first outing for the Utes. They go 49-4 on vault, 49-4-2-5 on bars to open things up.
Absolutely. We're looking good so far. And we're going to start off with Shannon McNatt on balance beam. And she was a starter for us last year. And then I actually ended up taking that position about mid-season. But And we'll see. She's been putting really good training in, and she and Lexi have actually been kind of vying for that spot. That first starter spot is extremely important, especially on a technical event like balance beam. You need someone who's consistent and can set the tone. And this will be Shannon's debut as starter for the 2019 season. Balance beam also, it's really important, kind of like bars, is you want to have a consistent tempo in your routine. You don't want to see too much time waiting or before or after a skill. She just performed her combination series, which is a front aerial back handspring. She had a little bit of a tempo change there, which judges can deduct. And a series is an extremely important part of the routine because you get that bonus that you need. So she might have a start value discrepancy right there, but we'll see as the routine goes on.
2017 regional champ on beam was McNatt. Had a 9.6 as her best score last year in a quad meet. Again, just 2 competitive routines for her on beam last year, and then with exhibition 4 times.
She looks pretty confident, and I got to train with Shannon a lot, and she is a really good gymnast in training and struggled a little bit once she put the spotlight on her. But she's proving right now that she's there and she's a gamer. Stuck that beam dismount. Good start for Shannon. A little bit of bobbles here and there, but as we said, first meet, little jitters. Got through that routine.
So Shannon McNatt, one of the most brilliant students on the entire Utah campus. In fact, President Watkins recognized her at the opening of the New Heights campaign. She has a new major created by her. It's called Business Economics / Analytics and Quantitative Analysis of Markets and Organization. That's a mouthful.
Sounds like a lot.
Sounds like a lot of work to me, but just a brilliant student, and great to see her get off to a good start on beam to open things up for Utah.
Absolutely.
Tess McCracken now, first up for Penn State over on floor.
All right. Tess is about to go into her very first tumbling pass. Perform a round-up back handspring, 2.5 twists. She went out of bounds. And what out of bounds means, for our viewers that don't know, is if you go out of the floor boundaries, out of that blue carpet, they'll take a deduction for it. It just shows a lack of control in your gymnastics.
Had the elevated pad over there and just too much tempo, and then takes a spill opposite corner, so a rough start for Tess McCracken.
Yep, just sat down that middle pass, which had her combination bonus, so just looked like her round-off didn't really turn her over in the right direction, so she was a little bit off when she was punching into her next element. We'll see if she can keep up. The hardest part sometimes is once your routine goes wrong, it's kind of keeping up and not making any more mistakes on the way, because any 10th counts is always what I've been taught. So regardless of what your routine looked like in that moment, you still have something that's going on. You still have a skill you need to perform. So we'll see if she can get this third tumbling pass to her feet, which she did. It was very clean. She had a handspring 1.5. Ended that floor routine well. I'm sure she won't be too happy with that, but beginning of season.
Well, Tess McCracken went 4 times on floor last year. Her best score was a 9.725. Academic All Big Ten performer last season, but Maddie, you maybe heard the crowd clapping behind us. Great to see the crowd notice. She took a couple spills and they tried to give her a little bit of a boost and got behind her. She finished off that routine.
I think they know how hard the sport of gymnastics is, and you know what? Mistakes happen. And, yep, we have a loyal fan base that will cheer you on regardless if you're wearing a U or you're in blue.
All right, second up for the Utes, Adrian Randall over on beam.
Right, this is Adrian's first performance in the Huntsman. She has a really unique skill on balance beam. She has a back handspring, full twist swing down that she'll perform, which is really, really eye-catching. I think our audience will react to it in an interesting way. So far, she's looking really solid. Performed a back handspring layout step out as her series. Had a jump combination with a sheep jump, which is a very difficult jump as you throw your head back. You lose sight of the beam. Her leap combination is switch leap split jump. She has really good performance quality, and to me, she looks confident. And that's the main thing that you look for in someone performing beam, is you want her to seamlessly move through this beam routine with ease. She does not make anything look difficult. And right now, she's nailed every skill. She's looking at a really solid start on the beam.
Just performed that full twisting spring down that you heard the gas from the fans. You think she made a mistake. That's a planned part of the routine. Did it flawlessly.
And just a little step back on her dismount. She performs a round-off double twist, which is a difficult dismount. And I am really in awe of that beam routine for a freshman to put up. Didn't have any little nervous shakes. Went through and did everything really, really, really seamlessly. So I think she'll see a big score.
Adrian Randall, a freshman from Corona, California, made the U.S. Junior Olympic national team. During her pre-Utah days, was the Junior Olympic national champion in the senior C division on beam in 2017. And Megan Martin said she's flat out earned her spot. We'll look for her to go second or third up for us. And
absolutely. Megan looked like she was very happy with that beam routine. And all the girls were excited for her. She's one of those competitors that doesn't really show too much emotion. I think we'll see. She's kind of one of those more stoic competitors, but I think deep down she's probably very excited with that beam routine.
Shannon McNatt with a 9-7 to open the scoring for the Utes on beam. Not a great score, but I think unlike last year, something she can build on as she moves throughout the rest of the season.
Absolutely. I mean, what we're looking for is, and as we talked with Megan about, is you want all your routines to be able to put up a 9-9, regardless of where you are in the lineup. So Shannon has some room to grow. She had a couple mistakes here and there, but that she stayed on the balance beam is a good start.
Still awaiting the first score from Tess McCracken on floor for Penn State. Utah ready for a second performer, or make that third performer over on beam. McKenna Merrill Giles, and she'll be followed by Missy Reinstatler, Kari Lee, and then Michaela Skinner. 8.45 is the score.
Yeah, sometimes judges, when there's a kind of a lull, I guess, or when judges take longer to find scores, it's probably because they're struggling with finding the start value. And since she missed that second pass, and that second pass had her combination bonus, her connected tumbling, that the judges were probably searching for what her start value was.
So that's the first score up for Penn State for McCracken on floor. Now ready for the Utes back over on beam. McKenna Merrill Giles third up for the Utes tonight.
All right, second competitor for Penn State will perform a round back handspring double back as her opening pass. Really solid tumbling pass. Looks good. She's enjoying herself. Just smiled at her team.
This is Alyssa Bonzel, sophomore from Connecticut.
Floor is fun to perform, especially when you have your team that gets to stand close on the sidelines. And they all know the choreography as well. Moving into her second pass. Perform a round-off half into a layout full.
Close to stepping out, but saved it.
I know, she got close. And as a gymnast, you kind of learn what the boundaries are, so I bet she knew she was close. She almost puts your tippy toes up and not make sure you don't plant your foot fully down.
That foot was sliding towards the white there and able to keep it in.
Gotta save any tenth that you can.
Well, Bonzel at the Big Ten Championships last year was 16th place, her career best score on the floor, a 9.85, and just under-rotated right there on that pass.
Yep, looked like she was a little bit short. I could see that as she looked a little bit like she didn't have enough power going into that double pike for her last pass. Ending with the double pike is harder than the pass that she opened with, so it shows that she has a pretty good difficulty in her floor routine. However, kind of like we said though, these girls just came off of a Christmas break, and they have to get in routine shape really quick, so I think she'll probably gain some cardio and be able to put that on her feet.
All right, time for a little Creedence Clearwater Revival, the classic rock. The music behind McKenna Merrill Giles, third up for the Utes over on beam.
McKenna is one of those performers on beam, and she just walks through her balance beam routine. That's what Megan would always coach us to do, is you want to do a walk-through routine where it kind of looks like you just floated. McKenna so far is just floating through her routine. Started out with a switch lead split jump, just a little bobble check, but walked through it. She does a triple series, which shows extreme difficulty as she connects 3 acro elements down the balance beam. And her being one of the taller ones on the team, she barely fits it on the beam, and I always think that's the craziest thing.
Well, she told me she grew 4 inches during an off-season and really had to sort of relearn how to perform her skills.
Yep, she did, and she's done a really good job, though. Just performed a front aerial, a little balance check, but not bad. Full turn, and flashed her U right to the muss. And McKenna has worked really hard on this event. I wouldn't say she's a natural at it. She's a natural competitor. She's a natural gymnast, but she doesn't gravitate to the balance beam too much. But she has turned this into her event. And she changed her dismount to a round-off 1.5. Back to what Tom Farden said, it's all about the sticks. and a 1.5 is easier for McKenna to stick than a double twist. So she degraded a little bit, still okay in value for her routine because she has enough bonus. Really good all-around set for McKenna.
McKenna Merrill Giles, a senior from Pleasant Grove, has scored as high as 9.925 on beam that came against UCLA last season. I mentioned that growth. That was before the 2017 season. She was just trying to find her center over the beam again. Ended up as a second-team All-American on that event in 2017. And again, we mentioned her great score last year for McKenna Merrill Giles. Just really a breakthrough year. She told me it was really mental conditioning and just learning to put behind a bad routine. She said before, I'd have a bad part of a routine and it would impact the rest of my meet, the rest of my day in training. She finally learned last year just to put that aside and move on, and we saw the results. Tremendous growth from her last year.
Absolutely, and I got to watch her go through that, and it's not as easy. Sometimes the physical training, you just want to condition, and the mental training can become exhausting sometimes, but she put day in and day out, really worked hard at it, and it's proving to make her a very consistent and calm competitor is what I'm seeing.
Courtney Chinnery, third up for Penn State on floor.
She performed a really unique first pass. She did a round-off whip double pike. So whip is a back handspring without hands. Just a little extra flair.
We and I were talking between rotations. Athletes really come through on vault and floor for Penn State, a building program. This is one of those events they're going to struggle on until they get some better performers in the program.
Absolutely. I think, as we were talking, vault and floor are you got to have difficulty to be a separator. And Penn State, just as we've talked about, it doesn't have that recruited class yet. The head coach that's here is still has gymnasts that she didn't necessarily recruit. So she's kind of putting together a team of gymnasts and coaching the talent that she has right now. And these girls have good gymnastics. But compared to the Utes right now, their technical refinement is a little bit below us, I would say. And they're not putting their passes on floor to their feet right now, so we're seeing falls. And as we said, to get your best team score possible is you want to hit all 24 for 24 routines. And the Utes are keeping up with that tally mark right now. Penn State, they're lagging a little bit behind. Her combination pass she just performed was a 1.5 punch front pike. So we missed that second pass. She flew out of bounds and sat down. So she counted a fall in and out of bounds, but ended on her feet. So Penn State's getting through floor.
Score so far for Penn State on floor. McCracken went 8.45. Bonzel went 9.35. The first three scores are up for the Utes over on beam. Sham McNatt went 9.7, a 9.85 for Randall. McKenna Merrill Giles at 9.9, and now fourth up, Missy Reinstatler.
The Utes are putting up a really good, solid beam lineup so far, and this sometimes is the event where things can happen because it's 4 inches and it's not so forgiving, but they've put in the time and it's showing. I'm seeing a lot of good confidence. Missy is a beautiful performer on all events, but especially on balance beam. Like McKenna, she walks through her routine. She missed, so she performed a back handspring layout step out. And what happens on beam is when you're the slightest bit off, sometimes there's things you just cannot correct. So it looked like her back handspring was a little bit crooked, so it made her next acro element out of it. Just put her right off the side of the beam, so we are counting a fall right there. Move through, she has what's called a side somi, which is a side aerial, but you land sideways instead of correcting your hips completely square. She nailed that acro element. And into her leap pass, she does a switch leap straddle quarter, and she hit all of her splits. Being 180 on all of your leaping or jumping elements is extremely important, and is a separator, which Missy always has. And her dismount is a cartwheel gainer full. She stuck that. I know Missy well enough where she will not be happy with that routine in a sense of the fall that she had. But she looked confident to me. She looked calm. She looked in control. It just looked like a really unfortunate balance check. So I think she'll be just fine.
Took a couple of deep breaths, fought her way through the rest of the beam set, and Missy Reinstatler, the 2018 regional champion on beam with a 9.925. She went 9.85 or better, 7 of the 8 performances last year. So we see some big scores out of her, and just an off night to get things started in 2019 for her first beam set.
She'll be back, not worried whatsoever. All right, moving on. Penn State is back on the floor.
Melissa Astorita, their fourth performer.
All right, going into her second pass. She's going to perform round off 1.5 punch front layout. Now, what's important with combination passes like that is that you want to see, as we've talked about on the vault, is you want to see that height, amplitude, and you want to see distance. You want to see the skill in the tumbling pass carry from corner to corner. And she was a little bit short. You don't really want to land mid-floor. You want to land closer to the corner. So you can get a little bit deducted for that. She'll move into her third pass here soon. And for those that can't see, we do have some mats on the floor. And sometimes for fans, that looks like it should be a deduction, but you don't get any deduction. It's just to save our gymnast bodies so their ankles don't take quite a beating. Just performed a nice double pike, landed that right upright on her feet. So good floor routine so far. Just ended right towards her teammates. They look happy with it.
So the scoring on floor, it's all about the 3 tumbling passes and perceiving perfection. You want to have good height and then confident landings. Don't ever want to land on your heels. And Penn State, a few struggles. Highest score at this point at 9.35 by their second performer, Bonzel Chinnery, with 9.225. Missy Weinstad with that fall at 9.250. And now Kari Lee, second to last performer for the Utes, over on beam.
Kari has been able to perform the balance beam for the Utes pretty much every season that her body has let her. She's a consistent performer. She's one of those who just floats through her routine, doesn't make anything look difficult. She'll perform her series. She does a back handspring, layout step out, tiny balance check, but she knows herself well enough where she was on the beam, she was solid. What's fun about Kari is she's had Taylor Swift as her beam music every year. And this year she just turned 22.
There you go.
That's her music this year, is 22 by Taylor Swift.
Nice choice.
Yes. She had her leap pass. It is a switch leap straddle quarter. And she actually had a little bit of a tempo problem, so she might not get the connection right there. But she did just add a brand new dismount, which is a side aerial directly into her dismount, which is a layout full, which gives her her acro bonus and her dismount bonus, and she's been able to stick it more confidently, what she did tonight.
Yep, easier to stick. We talked about the adjustments that Tom Farden saw on film from some other schools, and made that suggestion to Kari Lee. So good performance by her to get things started on this 2019 season for Kari Lee. Engaged and really, as Megan Marsden said, kind of just selling into life. She's focused on this last year, but can also spend more time now as kind of being the team mom or grandmother, or however you want to say it, as one of the senior veterans.
Yes, Kari's someone that every girl feels comfortable and confident going to talk to about absolutely anything. She's one of those motherly figures, so good to have her as a team captain this year.
All right, Lauren Bridgens on floor for Penn State, under-rotated. The landing on that first tumbling pass.
Her first tumbling pass was a handspring double twist, which is an E, which in difficulty with gymnastics, we have letter grades for our skills. So an E is the higher up in the letter, or the longer, further in the alphabet, the higher the difficulty was. So she was a little bit short on it, but it was a very difficult first pass. Second pass, she landed on her feet. Routine's looking good so far. She's performing well to the crowd, which is also extremely important with college gymnastics. It's all about showing off your gymnastics, not just doing it, which is kind of a change. When you train gymnastics all growing up, you're just doing gymnastics. All you're trying to do is get through your routine as best as possible, where in college, you have fans that you're interacting with, a judge that you want to make eye contact with, a smile you want to show. It just really, honestly, shows the fans and the judge that you are confident and in control of your gymnastics, and you aren't nervous about anything.
Third pass now for Bridgens.
Yep, third pass had really good height in that rounded back handspring double back. Landed it upright, which is exactly what you want to see.
Lauren Bridgens, a career best score of 9.85 last season. She's a sophomore out of Maryland. Had one win on floor last year. Bridgens qualified for NCAA's as an individual last season. Placed fourth. Or made that 28th in the all-around at Nationals with a 39.2125. Had 3 all-around wins last year. All Big Ten performer. She was the second to last performer for Penn State on floor. Garcia yet to go. And now Skinner, last up for the Utes on beam.
All right, Michaela has been our anchor for the last season, and looks like she has that spot this season as well. A little bit of a balance check on her back handspring layout step out. Michaela is always one of those gymnasts that, A, she has the difficulty, she has the confidence, and she has the consistency in all of her gymnastics. So she's moving through this beam routine very seamlessly. She's even singing along to her beam music, which is the Carrie Underwood by Champion. And once you see her just kind of in her element, you know that nothing's really going to happen. So looks like she's in her element tonight. Moving into her leap pass, she does a switch leap, straddle jump into a back tuck. Nailed it.
How tough is that?
Very tough. Having leaped into an acro element shows the judge that, A, you can handle kind of a tricky combination. Just flashed her U at the audience. And she'll move into her dismount, which is the most difficult dismount we have on our team right now, which is a round-off double back. And she's been really working on her height on this to get a good landing, which she didn't necessarily stick, but I really think that that's improved significantly since she's been with us. The higher she can get on that double back, the higher opportunity she has to have her chest upward to keep her feet on the ground and get that good stick, which almost had tonight.
Almost had it. Yep, just a little bit lower than she wanted to, but still a very nice routine for Michaela Skinner. Placed 4th on beam at Nationals last year. Scored 9.9 or better 11 times last year. Her career high was back in 2017 with a 9.95 at Arizona State. So Michaela Skinner, junior from Gilbert, Arizona. We await her score as the last up for the Utes on beam. Carly Lee went 9.675. Utah looking to drop that 9.25 of Ryan Statler, which they will do. Skinner, a very good performance. And Penn State now, its highest score is a 9.825 on floor by Bridges, who just went. Garcia, their last performer, now for the Nittany Lions over on the floor exercise.
And she's one of their star performers. She's done consistently well. So she's just starting off the season. Her first floor routine of the year. There's a round back handspring double back. Stayed in bounds. Showing good control. Looks like she's enjoying. She has a fun floor routine interacting with the audience and with her team.
I think our visitors feed off this crowd here as well, Maggie. They have a big house, and this crowd gets behind you on floor. It's got to be fun for them as well as a visiting team in here.
Absolutely. Gives you a little extra boost of confidence and a little extra energy, I think. Her next pass was a round back handspring double pike. So she showed good difficulty in her floor routine so far. And she's also showed really good control in her landings. On floor, you don't want to see any kind of too much like feet movement. You just want to see one solid step back, which shows the judge you have control over your tumbling, which she's done so far.
Utah with over a point lead going into this third rotation at 98.825 to 97.575. So Utah comfortably in the lead as we wrap things up on floor. Garcia, a career best score of 9.9. She tied that score at Big Ten's last year to place 4th.
Going into her third pass. She does a round off 1.5 punch front layout. Just performed that routine really well. She has a solid, good end for kind of a rough start for Penn State on floor for this season. They're going to have to work on those landings a little bit. So they had quite a few falls. So glad that they ended the last one on their feet.
So Garcia for Penn State, a 9.5 on vault and 9.8 on bars. Good performance for her on floor. And now back over to balance beam for an exhibition routine.
Yeah, we have Lexi doing an exhibition tonight, which I think that she's one of those, and as we talked with Megan earlier this week, she's one of those ones that really vied for that starting spot with Shannon. And I don't know, we'll have to see how this routine goes and see. A healthy competition, I think, is good competition. That means each of the girls have good routines that they're able to put up. That starter position is a very key one to put the right person in. And so far, she performed a back handspring layout step out with a bit of a balance check, which we saw at Red Rocks, too. She needs to gain a little more control of her upper body on that skill so she doesn't have her shoulders shift to make her unaligned.
Yeah, they were ready to go with Alexia Birch to lead off. On beam had a bad break at Red Rocks, and they just felt we need a consistent performance. You said Shannon had looked better, and despite having a rough go of it last year, they thought she's a senior. She needs to be given a chance, and Shannon with the knife, but still I think Alexia can have some chances perhaps down the road this year to lead off on beam for Utah.
Absolutely. I think she really needs to continue to build confidence, and kind of as we talked about, McKenna worked really hard on her mental choreography on balance beam, and I worked on that a lot in my college career, and that's extremely important because you don't really want to be giving yourself technical corrections while you're performing. You want to go on autopilot, and to me it looked like she was kind of coaching herself through that routine. she and Shannon. So both of them, I think, need to show a little more confidence to secure a spot.
Last score up for the Utes on beam. Michaela Skinner went 9.85, so the Utes will drop the 9.250 for Missy Reinstadler and score a 48.975. That's the lowest event score tonight. And now an exhibition performer for Penn State over on floor to wrap things up.
And exhibition routines, as we talked about, it's just a chance to get a gymnast out on the floor that didn't necessarily make the lineup. Her first pass, she stepped out of bounds, and Penn State seems to be really struggling tonight, staying on their feet on floor and in the bounds. So they just have a little more work to do, and sometimes you need a first meet to kind of wake you up a bit, and I think they'll keep working at it.
So Penn State's last two scores on floor. Lauren Bridgens went 9.825, as did Sabrina Garcia. So they will drop the 8.45 score from McCracken. And that led things off. They'll have to count the 9.225 from Chinnery. And also the 9.350 from Bonzel. So just a couple of low scores really weighing down that floor performance from Penn State. They score a 47.875 to do the Nittany Lions. That is their lowest event score tonight, and our team scoring at this point, the Utes are on top of Penn State, 147.8 to 145.45.
I think we had an overall good showing on balance beam. Missy's fall on her back handspring layout step out, a little uncharacteristic, and like I said, it didn't seem like she wasn't confident. The rest of her beam routine was flawless, so I don't see that necessarily being a reason to remove her from a lineup for any reason. We'll just chalk that one up. And the other girls, they stayed on the beam and helped her out, and that's why we put 6 up, is you have that little room for error if needed. And like we said, this is the first meet. They have room to grow, room to gain confidence, I think is my most key thing, especially with balance beam, is you just want to know your lineup will get up and hit. And these girls have the ability to, and they showed it. They really, McKenna Merrill Giles, her routine was flawless.
Yes.
She's had a great meet so far, all three. I'm excited to see her finish this off on floor. But so far, the Utes, we look good. We look really good. We look confident.
Yeah,
room for improvement, though.
We'll check the scores when we come back in just a moment. Individually, the team scoring through 3 rotations. Utah on top of Penn State, 147.8 to 145.45. Back with our 4th rotation in just a moment. This is Red Rocks Gymnastics from Learfield.
Purchase your Minky Blanket online at softminkyblankets.com or stop in at one of their stores in Layton, Draper, St. George, Orem, and Ogden. Minky Couture, best blanket ever.
Volunteer coach BJ Doss here to give you a few tips on what to watch for on floor. A great floor routine should have good form, choreography that captures the crowd's attention, and tumbling passes that defy gravity. The routine must include a leap series with at least 2 different elements and a 180-degree split position. A minimum of 2 tumbling passes. One pass must include at least 3 elements, and the tumbling must include both forward and backward flipping. And of course, a great floor routine always flashes the U.
Along with former Utah All-America Maddie Stover and Mike Lagashow back at the Huntsman Center. 3 rotations down, 1 to go, and Utah leads Penn State comfortably, 147.8 to 145.45. Let's run down the scoring from our 3rd rotation. The Utes over arm beam. Shannon Nett a 9.7 to get things started. Adrian Randall, one of those promising freshmen on that event for the Utes, went a 9.85. McKenna Merrill Giles a 9.9. Missy Reinstadler with that fall scored a 9.25. Kari Lee a 9.675, and Michaela Skinner a 9.85. So McKenna Merrill Giles found the perfect balance for her team, going 9.9 over arm beam, and that's brought to you by the David Eccles School of Business. Find your perfect balance at eccles.utah.edu. So the Utah scoring over arm beam a 48.975. That's their lowest score tonight, going below 49 for the first time as a team score in the event, but still some bright spots for the Utes over there on beam tonight.
Absolutely. Balance beam is always a tough event, I'll be honest with you. It's the one where sometimes most error happens. I chalk that up to it being 4 inches, and you have to be nearly perfect to stay on it. And it's a very mental event to compete. But I think our team looked really good. As I said before, Missy had a fall, but her routine still looked very confident to me. So I don't see that really changing up lineups at all there. And Penn State, their floor set, as we kind of talked about during the break, they just didn't look prepared yet. Looks like they need a little more work in the gym, a little more training, just to kind of find their tempo and their rhythm within their routines, because they had a lot of out of bounds and falls. So we saw very low scores.
Yeah, the first 3 scores, Tess McCracken went 8.45 to open things. A 9.35 from Melissa Bonzel as their second performer. Courtney Chinnery, a 9.225. Normally that's a score you like to drop. That had to count tonight, as did the 9.35 from Bonzel. Their last 3 scores for Penn State, Melissa Astorita went 9.65. Lauren Bridgens and Sabrina Garcia, strong close, but still just their scores below a 9.9. A 9.825 for both. Penn State scores a 47.875. That's their lowest event score tonight. So through 3 rotations, Utah comfortably in the lead, 147.8 to 145.45. Back with more in just a moment. This is Red Rocks Gymnastics from Learfield. The sounds of Utah men in the background. Welcome back to the Huntsman Center. 13,193. Our crowd here tonight for the 2019 season opener. Tonight's meet being brought to you by Minky Couture, proud partner of Utah Athletics. And a great gift for that special youth fan in your life. Purchase your Minky blanket online at softminkyblankets.com or stop in at one of their stores in Layton, Draper, St. George, or Monadnock. Minky Couture, the best blankets ever. You can hear the roar of the crowd in the background. They are amped up for our 4th rotation. Utah going to floor. Penn State over arm beam. And Maddie Stover, a little bit of a change in the coaching staff for the youth. BJ Das, a highly acclaimed choreographer from Los Angeles, has been working with the team as a volunteer assistant coach. All new routines for this entire team, and I'm excited to watch them for the first counting scores of the season here in a few moments.
Yeah, it's extremely important. As I said, the performance quality with floor in college gymnastics kind of sets you above. And being in a conference with the UCLAs of the world, and even, all college teams are really upping their floor routine in a sense of the dance and the performance quality. And a lot of them bring outside people in. And BJ was one that came in, joined our staff this season as a volunteer coach, and did all of our floor routines this year. And what I've heard internally from the girls is that they love them. There's a different kind of performance quality to them. It's always fun to change up your floor routine, especially as us gymnasts. We perform the same routine meet after meet after meet as in the skill set wise. So it's fun for us to be able to have that dance performance quality too, especially floor. And BJ's done a really great job, and she's actually here with us tonight. I don't think she'll travel with the team every single meet, but it's fun for the girls to have her in town. And I know when she's in town too, she always definitely does little workshops with the girls and refines their dance.
All right, first performer is Sabrina Garcia for Penn State over on beam.
Sarah's one of the star performers for Penn State, so it's good to see her in that leadoff spot. That means they're confident in her to set the tone for Penn State. She does a hitch kick into a switch side. That was a very pretty combination. she looks confident.
Garcia tonight at 9.5 on vault, 9.8 on bars, and a 9.825 on floor. So she is one of the all-arounders in competition tonight.
She just did a side aerial and landed a little bit crooked, but was able to correct it. Her chest is a little bit low, and she kind of shimmied her way up to bring the skill back. Moving through into her series is a back handspring layout step out, and I saw that crookedness in the back handspring. You could see her hips, they were shifting a little bit to the left, which brought her center of balance off. The main thing with beam is you really want your feet to stay grounded, and you want your upper body to not have too much exterior movement. So you want to keep your shoulders and hips aligned with the beam at all times, and when that starts to go astray, that's when you see big breaks or a fall.
So a fall there by Garcia. She scored a 9.95 last year. That's a career best. That took place against Ohio State. I was surprised to see her with that score. Maddie is a leadoff performer on beam, but they put her there. I don't know if there's some injuries going on with her or just maybe try to find a comfortable spot for her, but capable of a big score, but unfortunately a fall for Garcia on beam tonight.
Yeah, with how she performed tonight and maybe the position of her lineup, she might not be as consistent as she's been. So, but she did start us off with that fall, but the rest of the routine looked pretty good.
All right, Kari Lee going all around tonight. She went 9.875 on vault, 9.825 on bars, 9.675 on beam. And she will get things started for the Utes over on the floor exercise tonight.
This is Kari's, again, her super senior year. She got injured when I was a sophomore, tore her Achilles, and she's had a really good comeback since then. She had a little aches and pains along the way, as any gymnast does, but she stayed relatively healthy. And from what Megan said this season is she's been in the training room less than she has in the past. So just started off with a 2.5 twist, which is a very difficult opening pass.
That's great news on Kari. Also had an ankle injury in 17 before the postseason. It really limited her that last month when you really want to be at your best in 2017.
Kari's looking really good this season. And just as Megan had said to us in one of our interviews, she just is more focused. I think it being your senior year, you take a new perspective on it's your last year with the sport. A lot of people get to, if you play tennis, you have to pick up a tennis racket when you're a little bit older, shoot a hoop. But for us gymnasts, once we're done, we're kind of done. So she's been able to really take hold of the senior year. She performed her middle pass really well, did a running punch layout front full, which is her bonus combination. She's starting off this floor set really well for us. Moving into her last pass, which is a double twist connected into a backhand spring, layout step out. So that was a really solid floor routine as a starter. We haven't usually seen Kari in that starting position on floor, but I think she just took it and really ran with it.
Boy, Kari Lee, an excellent performance. She scored 9.9 or better 3 times last year, including regionals. Her best score was back in 15 before the injuries took place. She scored a 9.925 at the Pac-12 Championships in 2015. She told me yesterday it's been so nice to work on fitness and that recovery this past offseason, and she looks to be in great shape. A great start for Kari Lee on floor for Utah. Second up now for Penn State over on beam, Kristen Politz.
All right, Kristen just opened up with a front aerial backhand spring, which gives her combination bonus and her series. So
Politz, a junior from Morganville, New Jersey, went on beam 11 times last year. Her career best score, 9.85, set last year in the month of March.
She looks like she's really in control of this routine. You can tell once a gymnast mounts the balance beam if they're in control or not. And she seems to be. However, she just had a little bit of a combination bonus with her cat leap switch half. But recovered, she repeated it. And a repeat of a skill doesn't do anything. She'll take the deduction for that first balance check. But since she recovered, she still gets that combination bonus, which is important going into the start value of the routine.
So Politz has performed on bars, beam, and floor, but going just over on beam tonight.
Yep. And she's moving through this routine pretty well. We're going to end, I think, here with, looks like she has a jump combo. Split jump, straddle quarter, and I bet she did that because she knew that she missed that leap combination in the beginning. And I know that all too well because you have to be quick on your feet. You have to know your routine front and back to make sure that you're fulfilling the requirements of the routine to get that 10-0 start value. So she did a really great job.
That's a great point that fans maybe don't realize during a routine. They just watch it and assume it's all according to plan. But if you miss a skill, you basically go back and pick it up.
Yeah, or if you miss a combination bonus that didn't go correct, you have a backup. Megan calls those routines a plan A and plan B routine. You always have to have those in the back of your mind. Obviously, you're aiming for that plan A routine where all your skills go as planned, but sometimes that 4 inches doesn't necessarily want to agree with you, and you have to make sure that plan B is in your back pocket.
All right, still waiting Carly's score to post on floor is first up for the Utes. Sabrina Garcia went 9-1 to lead off on beam for Penn State. Now Carly posting a 9-6. And Macy Roberts, the second performer on floor tonight for Utah.
Macy transferred from Maryland when she was a sophomore, so she's been with us for 3 years now. Her first year she started with us, she was a starter on floor, and it looks like she's found that spot, not necessarily as a starter, but right in that top 2 part of the lineup again this year. She struggled a bit last year on floor with consistency, but I know she's worked really hard in the preseason. She opens with a huge layout, running punch layout, 1.5 twist, connection bonus. And Macy's one of those just all around just fun girls to train and be with. She has a bubbly personality. She loves the sport. And I had the honor of being able to be on the team with her and really train beside her and kind of help her through that trial that she had last year a bit as she struggled to find her lineup spot. But looks like she's kind of grabbed a hold of this senior year, kind of like Kari has, and making it her own. Her second pass was around a back handspring double pike, performed it really well. Probably needs to take up a little bit more of the floor next time. She landed a little too close to the middle, but showed really good control, and she's looking like she's having a fun time with this floor team.
Very charismatic, a great smile. This is a great event for her.
This is her star event. This is the one that she loves to perform, and that I think we'll see her consistently in the lineup this year. Moving into her last pass, she does a 1.5 punch layout. That was great. Really, really, really good start for Macy. I'm extremely happy with that.
Macy Roberts scored a 9.875 twice last year. That was during the quad meets over in Reno and also against Washington. She competed in the first 6 meets, won exhibition the last 3. Just could not quite get everything put together on floor last year. But Macy Roberts, Megan Marsden said, listen, Carly's going to lead off. We've got McKenna, Meryl Drowse, and Mickey going 5, 6. Cindy Solowski will go 4. And right now those 2, 3 spots kind of fluid. Misty Ryan-Stanley will be there at some point once they decide to go all around for her. But Macy Roberts, Adrienne Randall, those two kind of getting a chance to get looked at. And Macy Roberts got the call tonight.
Absolutely, and I think Macy will continue getting that call. And I think we'll see Missy back in the lineup. As we had mentioned before, as an all-arounder, got to be careful with a few of the girls. And Missy's one of those. But she's ready on the event. We saw her at, I've seen her in training, and she looks great. So, moving on to the balance beam. Penn State has Tess up.
Let's get the right performer here. Yeah. It is Jessie Bastardi.
Jessie, okay. She just performed a really good front, they call it a front toss, which is you take off for the skill with one leg at a time, but it looks like it ends like a front tuck. So a difficult element. Performed it well. Did a switch leap straddle jump, showing good split 180, which is having both legs out completely extended in the full position, which is important. She performed a side aerial layout full dismount, which gives her her acro, her combination, and her dismount all in one, which Kari Lee, we saw her perform that exact same thing. So it's catching on in college gymnastics at dismount.
That was the first event tonight for Jessie Bastardi as their third performer. 3 more still to go on beam for Penn State. Still waiting for the score to post for Macy Roberts on floor. And there it is, a 9.875 for Macy Roberts. That tied her season high from last season. She's gone as high as 9.9 back in 2017 on floor, but a good performance by Roberts. Now Missy Reinstadler, third up tonight for the Utes on the floor exercise.
She has a really fun floor routine for the fans that can't hear the little music in the background. It's The Greatest Showman. So
great soundtrack.
she's usually not one to like interact with the crowd too much. Missy performing her gymnastics is what I'm seeing this year, which is really exciting. That shows me that she has a lot more confidence. Her opening pass is a round of back handspring double back. Stayed in bounds, showed good control, good height.
Missy Ryan-Sadler, 5 scores of 9.9 or better last year, including Pat 12's her best score at 9.925 against UCLA last season.
So she just had a little bit, and we'll see this reflective in her score. She had a little mishap on her leap pass. I don't know if she kind of tweaked an ankle or stutter stepped, but she didn't necessarily complete her full leap pass. So we'll see that. The judges will take that as a deduction because you need those are required elements within a floor routine. So hopefully she can keep up. She just did her switch leap ring. Missy is beautiful on this event. She, like always, is just walks through things and performs things like no other, honestly. She has very artistic gymnastics.
And Megan Marsden just raves about her every time we talk to her. Compares it to Teresa Kulikowski, who was back in the early 2000s, just with her gracefulness and lines. And pretty good floor performance for Missy tonight, other than that one spot you mentioned.
Yeah, and she ended with a rounded back handspring double pike, which is a really hard skill to end on, and landed it perfectly. So I think we'll still see a good score out of Missy. Might be having a little bit off night since she had a fall from beam. Maybe might be a little bit. Sometimes it's hard to come off of a fall like that and keep performing. So some struggle with that, and Missy might be one of those. So just that first meet.
So Missy Ryan-Sadler was mentioned, did not go vault, had a 9.85 on bars, then went 9.25 on beam, so floor was her final event of 3 tonight. Back over to beam now for Penn State. Tess McCracken, their 4th performer.
All right, Tess just performed it's a squat turn, so it's almost like up on her toe, but squatted down in a, this is hard to explain over the radio now that I'm trying to, but anyways, a very difficult full turn. It was really good. Did a front aerial back handspring as her acro and series element. Ooh, she shows really great flexibility and very pretty dance so far. She's showing probably the most artistic I've seen from Penn State for their gymnastics on the balance beam tonight. A little bit of a balance check with her split jump, ring jump. And a ring jump for our audience is when your head goes completely back, you lose sight of the beam, and that makes the skill harder. Gives you a little more difficulty, a little more bonus. And she did a cat leap into a front aerial. Looking pretty good so far. She's showing good confidence. And moving into her dismount, she does a back handspring, gainer gold twist, and just landed it very well. So looking good for her. Looking really good.
Tess McCracken, a junior from Plano, Texas, went on beam 11 times last year. Her best score was a 9.8 in the quad meet against BYU. Pretty good routine tonight.
Pretty good. Absolutely.
So Tess McCracken, scoring for her tonight. That was her 3rd and final event. She went 9.775 on bars, had a rough floor routine, 8.45 to really derail what she had going this evening. Now back to floor for the Utes.
All right, Sydney is up for us. She's a sophomore from Canada, and she is a consistent performer on the floor. She has a fun, kind of feisty floor routine, I would say, and opens with a huge double layout. That was massive. She's one of those powerhouse competitors, but is very graceful and fun with her dance, and the judges love it. She's been rewarded really well. She did great for us last year as a competitor in our lineup consistently. She did break her nose last year,
yes.
And I can report to all of our audience that she has successfully had a surgery that is, she's good to go. So
very good.
She did compete. She did compete more of the season than not with a broken nose, which shows that this girl's got some grit.
Absolutely. Won all but one meet on floor last year, scored 9.9 or better 7 times, including a 9.9125 at the NCAAs in the semifinals. So was very good in the postseason for the Utes. Her best score on floor, a 9.925 set here against Oregon State last season.
She's doing this floor routine so well, showing really great control. Her second pass was a rounded back handspring double twist. Nailed it. Really clean landing. She'll move into her very last pass, which will be her connection bonus. She needs to stay in bounds, so it'll be a round off, 1.5, punch layout. Showed really good control. That was a great floor routine for Sydney. I'm excited for that. That'll be a big score.
Sydney Solaski, the sophomore from Calgary, Alberta. Had a shoulder injury during the preseason, made it difficult to train, but has gotten herself in pretty good shape on floor. That was a nice routine for Sydney Solaski as the fourth performer for the Utes on floor tonight.
Yeah, floor is definitely Sydney's niche event, and she loves performing it. She's really good at it. That shoulder is still bugging her, so we won't see her train or compete on floor or vault or bars this season, but she'll be training and vying for lineup spots in the beam and floor.
All right, floor scores so far for the Utes. Carlia 9.6. Macy Roberts went 9.875. Missy Reinstadler a 9.775. And for Penn State, Tess McCracken just posted a 9.8. That's her second best score behind Bastardi's 9.875. Now Lauren Bridgens, the NCAA qualifier from a year ago, performing second to last up tonight for Penn State over on beam.
Her routine's looking pretty good so far. A little bit of balance checks here and there. Her series was a back handspring layout step out, and she did a switch leap straddle quarter for her root series. Moving into, she looks pretty confident. And when I say balance checks for our audience, that just means that it wasn't perfectly on. There's a little bit of a bobble, a little bit of a, oh, now I got it, kind of a moment.
And we just saw one right there.
Exactly, and a judge will take a tenth or more depending on how big that break or balance check is. But they happen. And her dismount was a round off 1.5 twist. Didn't stick it, shifted her feet around a little bit, but good balancing performance.
She's gone as high as 9.85 on beam in her career. Probably won't get there tonight with the deductions that you mentioned, but Lauren Bridgens, all-around performer tonight, went 9.7 on vault, 9.85 on bars, 9.825 on floor. Back to floor for the Utes. McKenna Merrill Giles, second to last up for Utah tonight.
All right, McKenna's had a great showing so far. And this is kind of one of her events. I would say this is one of the ones where she's really proven herself, as she has really great difficulty. She has very hard tumbling passes, but also is really clean on this event.
So far for Merrill Giles tonight, a 9.9 on vault, 9.85 on bars, and a 9.9 on beam. So she's in the hunt for the all-around title here tonight.
She opens up with a rounded back handspring, full twisting double back in a piked position, which is extremely difficult. Landed it really well. She struggled with being out of bounds on that a little bit last season. So seeing her land consistently right in that corner all preseason and now at her first meet is a good sign. Moving into her second pass, she has round off 1.5, punch layout, punch pike. And the more you connect in a pass, kind of the more showy it is. So that's a unique pass for McKenna that kind of is a separator for her.
She's gone as high as a 10-0 in this event. That was against Georgia here last year. She was the regional champion on floor with a 9.95 here at the Huntsman Center last season. First team regular season All-American on floor a year ago.
She's looking really good so far. One more pass to go. Looks like she's having fun. When McKenna shows a smile, that means she's confident. She's one of those that's kind of like Missy, who I'm seeing them perform their gymnastics a bit more, which is really exciting for me. Ended that with a right handspring 1.5 straddle jump. She just nailed her floor routine. Really good, solid, all-around performance from McKenna tonight.
Boy, the crowd loves that routine. You heard the roar as soon as she concluded, and you saw the smile from McKenna. I talked to her yesterday, and I talked to her a little bit last year, but I thought, boy, yesterday she was so relaxed and just kind of going with the flow and didn't seem to have a care in the world. And I'm like, how you doing? She goes, you know what, I'm ready to go. I had a good year and didn't finish as well as I wanted to in some areas, but she's like, I just feel good about this season. This is my last one, and I think she's in a good spot mentally as we get ready for this 2019 season.
I'm happy to hear that, and I would totally agree with you. The McKenna I know and knew her freshman and sophomore year is definitely different than the junior and senior year McKenna that we're seeing right now, and that really, I think, comes down to that mental shift that she had and the confidence that you gain, honestly, from just being a veteran, learning how to compete.
Last two scores up. Sydney Solaski went 9.85 on floor. Still waiting McKenna's score. Skinner left to go for the Utes, and on beam for Penn State. McCracken went 9.8. That's her second highest score tonight, and now performing Arm beam for the Nittany Lions, Lauren Bridges.
She showed good control over her beam set so far. She just did a switch leap gainer layout step out, which is a really hard combination. She took that very seamlessly. Showing good confidence. Oh, a little bit of a balance check. She looked like she was going to do a jump into maybe an acro element. We'll see. Split jump into, a straddle quarter. So she got that. Like I said again, once you have that balance check with a combination bonus, if you repeat it, it's not a problem, but you will take the deduction from that first skill.
So Mason Hosick, a senior from Pearland, Texas, up arm beam. She competed on this event all 13 meets last year. Placed 7th at regionals with a 9.85. She's gone as high as 9.9 arm beam.
That was a pretty good all-around beam routine. Looks happy with it. Ended with a cat leap, gainer full dismount, stuck the landing, which is exactly what we're looking for.
So Mason Hosick last up for Penn State arm beam. Lauren Bridges scored a 9.750. Not a great score for Bridges, who went all around tonight and finished with a 39.125. Also Sabrina Garcia all around for Penn State. She scored 38.225. 2 all-around scores up for the Utes. Kari Lee, 38.975. McKenna Merrill-Giles, a 39.575. And our last all-arounder, last performer on the floor, Michaela Skinner for the Utes.
All right, this is Michaela's event, hands down. You know that she loves performing it. She feeds off the audience. She has the skills. She has the difficulty. She just nailed her double twisting, double back, which is one of the hardest skills that we'll see in the NCAA within college gymnastics, period. Our Huntsman fans get to see it every weekend when we're home.
And that's her opener.
Then that's her opener. Yep, it's crazy. She puts on a show, and she really has learned to gravitate towards performing on this event. And she's searching for those 10s this year is what I'm thinking Mickey's going for.
Did not get there last year. Scores high as a 9.975 twice. Got 2 10s on this event back in 2017, including the Pac-12 championships.
Yep, she's, like I said, lights out kind of performer, consistent, confident, fun to watch. Went for her second pass, is her combination bonus. She does a round off 1.5, round off, she steps out of it and does a round off double twist, nailed it. Very difficult, doesn't look like it, but is. Her whole routine is filled with difficulty. Going into her last pass, she will do what's called a full in, which is a full twisting double back, and she nailed it. That was an amazing set from Michaela. She's excited about it. Our fans are excited about it. Our team's excited about it. That's the way to end a Red Rocks gymnastics meet right there.
Gives the right hand salute to the crowd. They come to their feet. Over 13,000 on hand here at the Huntsman Center. A great opening afternoon crowd for this 2019 season. And Michaela Skinner placed 5th on floor last year. She was the regional champion, also Pac-12 champion in this event. Again, as we mentioned, did not get that 10-0 score last year, but
I'm thinking this is her year.
Why not? Seems to be in the mission as she comes down the home stretch. Done so much already in 2 years, but certainly has that focus, and it's all coming together in terms of training and preparation for Michaela Skinner. All right, exhibition performer now for Penn State over on beam. Their last score was Hosick's 9.85, so Penn State done as a team scoring-wise. Our beam, they scored at 49 even. That's their best team event score tonight, and they finished the meet with a 194.450. Utah, a comfortable lead of 196.825. That's before Skinner's 4 score has been posted, so that will be a huge bump for the Utes as they can drop that 9.6 from Kari Lee in the team scoring.
And I'm going to have to ask Tom about that 9.6. I mean, I'm not sure why that's so low. Her tumbling looked great. It might have been a combination bonus in her leaps that maybe wasn't there, but I wish I could tell our fans why that 9.6 is on that board, but I'm not quite sure.
Well, I want to say it took a while for that score to post. And, you know, like you said, when that happens, normally they're trying to decide what did we see, what did you see, and they
Probably
scored it at 9.6.
A start value discrepancy, and those ones are hard, but the team put up great scores. Penn State, I'm glad to see them. Balance beam's usually not where teams excel with their highest score, but hey, they'll take a 49 there.
And the final score for the Utes, Michaela Skinner went 9.95 for the Utes. So Michaela Skinner, a 39.7. That edges out McKenna Merrill Giles is 39.575 for the all-around crown here tonight. And now an exhibition performance by Adrienne Randall to wrap things up for the Utes.
This is one of Adrienne's best events. She's definitely an all-around contender in a sense that she trains all the events, but balance beam and floor is where she really excels. She's been struggling a bit with this opening pass, which she did tonight right now, which is a full in. She's just landing with her chest a little bit low. Looks like she's turning too early off of the floor, which once you start twisting an element before you flip it, you'll find your chest a little bit low. So I think she just will be working, and I know she is with Tom and Robert a lot on the technical side of that pass. But I think once she gets that down, she might be in that, as we said, that one spot in the lineup's kind of fluctuating. And she could push herself into there. Her second pass is a 1.5 punch front layout. Really, really beautiful. Stepped out of that gracefully. She's a solid performer, kind of dynamic. Hasn't showed us a smile quite yet, but as a freshman, I understand why. you want to get your floor routine on your feet, and then get excited
Just
by it.
get in, get through it, and then enjoy it.
Yep. Last pass. Adrienne will perform a round effect handspring double pike, which is very difficult at the last pass. Put that on her feet, and Tom Farden's right in front of him. He looked pretty excited by this floor routine for her. So she kept it on her feet. Again, that first pass, a little bit low, but really that exhibition spot and that floor routine right there shows that our team has depth, which is what we talked about, a veteran team with depth, which is all around tonight. I'm happy with it.
Lots of good performances. Adrienne Randall, exhibition on floor. She scored a 9.85 on beam tonight, so Randall competing the last two events. Again, that was just exhibition on floor. Utah's final team score of 197.175 and 194.450. The score for Penn State, so a comfortable team win here for the Utes. Let's run down the floor scoring for Utah. Carly at 9.6. They can drop that. Macy Roberts at 9.875. Missy Reinstadler went 9.775. Sydney Solowski at 9.85. McKenna Merrill Giles just a bit behind Skinner on that event with a 9.925. And then Michaela Skinner, a 9.95 to close. So Skinner brought the fans to their feet with that 9.95. And from the gym floor to the trading floor, stick your landing at the David Eccles School of Business. Visit eccles.utah.edu. We thank them for their sponsorship of Utah Gymnastics all season long. And lots of positives tonight.
Absolutely.
For the Utes in this one.
We put up a 197.175. That's a great start against the Penn State, which went 194.45, which is a bit lower. But our girls hit all of our routines. So they're looking really good. They looked confident. We had freshmen that really proved themselves in the lineup. I had my highlight, honestly, still Crystal Issa on bars, that 9.925. And bars being the event where things for the Red Rocks have been a little bit, I would say, lacking in high-scoring performances and depth. To have a freshman already gravitate to that fifth spot position and perform at the height that she did, I'm very, very happy with that. Again, highlight Michaela Skinner, her stuck vault that kind of catapulted, I think, the Red Rocks for the rest of the night with that twisting, double twist stick. Honestly, I'm ready to see that 10 get flashed for her, but we'll hold off. And I think balance beam, we had McKenna Merrill that really was a highlight to me. Floated through that balance beam routine, put up the highest score for the Utes. And on floor, again, McKenna and Michaela were lights out.
We mentioned Crystal Issa. She went with that 9.925 on bars and 9.825 on vaults. Working on a new floor routine. She got through Red Rocks preview and decided, you know what, I'm not liking this. So during the Christmas break, they scrapped the old one, built up a new one. So we could see her potentially on 3 events at some point in the near future.
I think so. And it's really, that's not a normal thing, is getting a floor routine that close to season starting. So I bet there's a little adjusting going on. But as Megan said, these freshmen, our team, they're still kind of getting to know each other, and the coaches are getting to know the athletes. So they just noticed that floor routine Crystal had prior to Red Rocks was just not clicking too well. So they decided, hey, we'll bring BJ in and give it another go, and we'll see if we'll get to see it out on the competition floor.
All right, so Michaela Skinner is your all-around winner, a 39.7 for her as she scores 9.95 on vault, 9.95 on bars, a 9.85 on beam, then back to a 9.95 on floor. Utah's second best all-around performer, McKenna Merrill Jaws, a 39.575. She scored a 9.9 on vault, 9.85 on bars, 9.9 on beam, and a 9.925 on floor. Carly Lee all-around tonight for the Utes, a 38.975 as she scores 9.875 on vault, 9.825 on bars. Had a rough last couple of events, scoring 9.675 on beam and 9.6 on floor. And the all-arounders for Penn State, Lauren Bridgens, who qualified for Nationals last year, scores a 39.125 to finish third in the all-around tonight. Bridgens scoring a 9.7 on vault, 9.85 on bars, 9.75 on beam, and a 9.825 on floor. And also Sabrina Garcia, a preseason All-Big Ten selection, scoring 38.225 in the all-around. Her scoring overall tonight, 9.5 on vault, 9.8 on bars, a 9.1 on beam. That really derailed her efforts tonight, and then came back with a 9.825 on floor. Again, that's for Sabrina Garcia. The team scoring, Utah goes 49.4 on vault, 49.425 on bars, 48.975 on beam, and then 49.375 on floor, scoring a 197.175. Penn State starts out on bars, a 49.95. They had a 48.625 on vault. Their floor performance was their lowest score tonight, a 47.875, and then they come back with the best score of the night, a 49 on beam. Penn State scoring a 194.475.
All around, as I said, good start for our Utes. A 197.175 is right where you want to be for January 5th. Gives you room for growth. I think we had one fall, which was Missy on beam.
Yep.
A little uncharacteristic on my behalf, I think. But other than that, we hit 23 for 24 routines, which is great. I think the coaches are going to be really happy with that. The freshmen that needed to show up and kind of fill those lineup spots that we were talking about that we were missing, they did a really great job and looked confident in doing so. The Penn State team had a little bit of a rough night tonight. I think they aren't necessarily in full routine mode, maybe, and they just need a little more time in training. As we said, not all teams started this week.
Right.
And coming off of a Christmas break and getting ready within 6 practices and them traveling clear across the country, there's factors that play into it. But overall, I think hopefully they had a good time performing in the Huntsman. They got a good crowd tonight. We were looking at 13,000 strong, 13,000 plus strong.
Yep.
So good start for our fan base, too.
And I think for Sarah Shire now, Sarah Brown, to bring her team here in her second year as a head coach and get things started. Of course, she started her career as a gymnast at Utah, finished in Missouri, but I think this place is still very special to her. And I think to bring her team back here, even though it wasn't a great performance, had to be kind of a fun moment for her to walk out here in front of these fans here tonight.
Yeah, and what's really cool about her being the head coach of Penn State is we also have another Utah alumni that's a Big Ten head coach,
Yep.
Meredith, that was here with us. She coached me as the assistant here for a couple years and took the head coach role at Ohio State. And to have female leaders come from our program and have 2 of them at 2 big schools, Ohio
Yes.
State and Penn State. Megan pointed that out to me, and I thought that was really cool. It's unique to see that, and it shows that our alumni group is still very invested in the sport, and the sport of gymnastics needs that positive investment in it right now. So I take that as she's kicking it right now. She's doing a good job, and once she gets her full recruited class in, I think Penn State might be able to grow into the program it once was.
Yep, so Sarah Brown at Penn State, Meredith King at Ohio State, both in the Big Ten. And, we're talking with Megan yesterday, and we'll go to some scores in just a moment. I think in that part of the country, there's kind of a void. There's not a standout program, and if those two can kind of build their programs in the Big Ten, they got a chance maybe to be with Nebraska in terms of a national qualifier from the Big Ten at some point.
Absolutely. I think in the national stage, what we've seen is heavy Pac-12 presence and heavy SEC presence and a trickle-in of Big Ten presence.
And a little Big 12 from Oklahoma.
And a little bit, yeah. So I think I would love to see it become more nationally competitive at the national stage. So hopefully those programs can pick it up with our Red Rock alumni in the reins.
All right, so Utah wins the opening meet 197.175 to 194.45 over Penn State. We're back with more in just a moment. This is Red Rocks Gymnastics from Learfield.
You know first.
And welcome back to the Huntsman Center. Maddie Stover, Mike Laga Show with you on opening night. Over 13,000 on hand for this 2019 opener. And we're joined now by co-head coach Tom Farden. And Tom, your team scored 49-375 or better on all but one event tonight. Your thoughts on your opening night performance here at the Huntsman?
Well, we felt like you got to get one underneath your belt and get back out there with the fans. We saw some things that were kind of, I guess you would attribute to first meet jitters, but we still felt that we left too much out there on one event on the balance beam. But a great start, obviously, on vault, bars, and floor.
All right, let's just run through event by event. Let's go to vault first and your impressions of what you saw over there.
Well, they've been working so hard over on that event, and we've got a couple other 10-0 vaults that we've been training, but we thought to open up the weekend and the season, we would stick with some 995 vaults and go after the sticks. We thought the athletes did a really good job. Kari obviously started us off with a brilliant stick, and then McKenna and Mickey sticking their vaults too was just amazing. So really a great way to start the meet. Bars, so critical again to use your rhythm on the bars and not get in a rush. I really felt like all of the routines did a really nice job. There was a couple of small glitches in terms of handstands and a couple of small hops, but nothing that we need to be alarmed about. Balance beam was a little bit of a different story in terms of the kids missing some start values, not being as aggressive as I wanted them to. That leadoff spot, I definitely want to set the tone. I thought Adrian did a tremendous job for her freshman opening. McKenna followed up really well. Missy had that uncharacteristic fall, and then Kari missed a connection. So that start value was a little low, but Michaela, brought it home tonight with a beautiful beam routine. And then floor, coming to floor, they've conditioned well for floor. I thought they looked pretty strong out there. We've put in an inquiry for Kari Lee's routine. To the layman's eye, you would just think that it looked pretty good out there, but we've got to figure out if there was a deduction in there for pausing or something of a leap miss or something else, some kind of value that was missed. So we'll get that feedback back from the judges and then keep moving on. But then the rest of the sets were really clean and nice.
Maddie said the same thing about Kari's floor routine. She goes, I can't believe that's a 9-6, so we'll maybe get some follow-up. Before I bring Maddie in, your bar set tonight, that's one of those events I know you're looking to improve, build some depth, and ended up being your highest scoring event tonight.
No, it was great. The bar workers have done well. We've got a couple other bar workers that we're working into, probably work into the rotation here. But for us to start out on that event with that kind of, and have a little bit of depth this year is going to probably serve us well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I saw. I thought one of the standout ones was Crystal on bars as a freshman in that 5th spot. She did really well.
Pretty happy with the freshmen. They both did a really nice job. Crystal was on vault and bars, and then, of course, Adrian did
absolutely stunning balance beam routine.
Really nice balance beam routine.
Yeah, I saw good confidence in them.